City's day obviously got worse. We touched upon this before. This is a breaking story as we record this, so we do have a few more details. My old colleague Martin Ziegler in the Times breaking this story, and there is a Premier League statement up. The Premier League statement is so ridiculous. You know my thoughts on lawyers, right? The statement says, like, you were reading this before, right? In 2009-10 season, violation of Premier League Rule 32B, blah, 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 blah.
B13,
Yeah,
E4.
oh, my God. Subsection 4, Article 2.
Can you tell us what
it's absolutely horrendous
Yeah.
to read. Honestly, if you want to put something as clear as mud. Anyway, so the long and short of this is, this all dates back to the same thing that caused UEFA to reopen their case against City, ban them for 2 years, and that ban was later overturned.
By CAS.
And that is a man named Rui Pinto and the Football Leaks files. Rui Pinto is as you know, Portuguese hacker. He started a website called Football Leaks where he started putting up documents and contracts, a whole range of things, mostly around Portuguese clubs initially, then spreading out. That's how we know, for example, about the Cristiano Ronaldo allegations with Catherine Mayorga.
Yeah.
That's how we found out how much money Gareth Bale made. All these things, right? He's responsible for all of that.
Yeah.
We're still not 100% sure. I mean, we know we have strong suggestions about that he hacked this one particular law firm. We don't know how he hacked other stuff. He says, "Oh, it's not really hacking. People give me
I
stuff."
got them. Yeah.
Like, okay, whatever. Anyway, UEFA, on the basis of this, and after this information was given to the German magazine Der Spiegel, who published it all on their website. I think a lot of it is still there.
Yeah,
incidentally.
you can check it out.
You go read it for yourself. UEFA brought the case, banned City for 2 years. Now, what did they ban City for? The case was that, I mean, there's several allegations, but the main one was that City sponsorship deals with Abu Dhabi-based companies essentially weren't real. Now, these sponsorship deals, for those who are like, oh, of course not, the same guy owns everything. Yeah, okay. But what happens is if, say, Etihad sponsor Manchester City and they give them $10, the way financial fair play works, City looks at it and says, UEFA look at it and say, okay, this is a related party, so we're going to assess it at fair market value.
Yeah.
So to assess it, they get experts, marketing companies, and say, okay, well, Manchester United, who are 4 times as big in terms of fans, from their similar deal, comparable deal, they get $5, so we're only going to count this as $5, right? Over time, those amounts have increased because Manchester United, all those clubs got bigger and bigger. The allegation and in Der Spiegel suggests that what City were actually doing was they had a shortfall. They would literally just call up these companies, mostly Emirati companies or companies with strong ties to Abu Dhabi, and say, hey, look, we need you to sponsor us for $30 million. And the company would say, okay, and we'll just wire you the money from, Abu Dhabi United Group's personal bank account. Essentially, I'm paraphrasing here, but that's essentially, which is obviously highly illegal.
Yeah.
Now, when City brought the case to Court of Arbitration for Sport and overturned the 2-year ban, in the end, the court found 2 things. They didn't go into specifics, but they said many of the allegations were unproven, which doesn't mean they're not true. It just simply means they're not proven.
Yeah.
And they said many of them are time barred, meaning you can only bring this case within a certain amount of time. That part, and incidentally, they still fined City a record fine for obstructing the course of justice and not cooperating with the investigation. In the Premier League's investigation, there is no time bar. They can go as far back as they want, which is why many of these, it's more than 100 breaches, go all the way back to 2009-10 season. And they include this season. The investigation's been going on for 4 years. Worst case scenario, points deduction, a fine, theoretically expulsion from the league. I don't think that's going to happen. Can they
strip them from the titles? So the titles that they won in the Premier League? A bit like what? So Juve or Inter or Juve, Juve did lose the title, no?
I didn't see that mentioned as a possibility. I mean, in Juve's case, going back to Calciopoli,
it was different.
the
But
stripping of the title. I mean, they were accused of manipulating referees to get an advantage on the pitch. This is a little bit different, I guess.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, I suppose theoretically that could happen as well.
Could have transfer bans, or that's the Premier League doesn't really do that?
Again, Martin Ziegler doesn't mention it in his piece. I don't believe that is that's a possibility. Either way, I think it's good. Whichever way you think it, we have some resolution. Now City can appeal. City can make their case, and hopefully we don't have to wait another 4 years because we get a judgment and we move on and we establish either this is wrong and you cheated
Yeah,
and you will be punished, and hopefully it's a fair punishment,
yeah.
or they're cleared.
I mean, for the credibility of the Premier League financial fair play, let's call it that way, or financial rules, it better be the fairest sanctions possible. So whether City are going to appeal, you think so now, and the Premier League would put their case forward saying, okay, this is how we can prove that you broke all those rules and you did that. And Mancini's contract at the time, remember that was
another thing too.
Yeah, it was paid by the club, but the other half seems to be paid by.
It was alleged he had a consulting contract with a club in Abu Dhabi, or certainly in the Emirates, where he was also getting a salary from there, whether he ever showed up to work. It's like those union no-show jobs.
Oh man, and also let's remind everybody that City tried as hard as they could to not give out to the Premier League and to the investigation all the paperwork and all the documents and all the information that they were asking. So if you've done nothing wrong, why would you not give everything that people are asking you for? This is, I think, what at the time already 2 years ago, or something like that.
It went to a court of appeals and said you have to hand over these documents.
People were thinking already like, why don't you want to give the documents if you've done nothing wrong?
Yeah. So I'm kind of preempting what's going to happen. If these results if this case is partially based, or the impetus for this is from somebody hacking information or illegally obtaining information, as Rui Pinto did. Ethically, Jules, put your ethical hat on.
Yeah.
Validated because this evidence is illegally obtained. Because these were the cases I was hearing from some City fans.
So you think that's going to be the defense in a way? That could be.
I don't know. I don't know. I just want to say, is this a valid defense?
I don't.
From an ethical, not a legal perspective.
I don't think it is. From the moment where those things are public, I think from the moment that things are out there, the Premier League, I think, have the right to say, hang on, we didn't know any of that. You hid all of this.
We see these in movies.
It was illegal.
We see these in movies all the time, right? The police search your car illegally and find a whole bunch of cocaine in it, right? Can you then be charged, right? What I would worry about more is the fact that they found the whole bunch of cocaine.
Yeah.
Legal, illegal. This information is out there. The stain is there.
Yeah.
You cannot mount a defense, I think.
I agree.
Based on it, because you know what? You really look crappy. People are just going to assume that you've been cheating all along and you're getting off on technicalities. That's why I think City should demand, if I was a City fan, I demand full clearance. And also, if they're going to go and do this, I want even more transparency about other clubs, because already people are murmuring about Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Already people are going to murmur, well, where's Bowley getting the money from? All this stuff.
Yeah.
Let's have more transparency, because it's really important. And look, I happen to come from a country where people assume that everybody was cheating and lying and stealing and stuff like that. There's very little faith in the institutions. It's critical. One of the great strengths of the Premier League is that more than in other countries, maybe not as much as Germany, but certainly than Italy, Spain, probably I'm going to guess more than France too, people in the institutions, critical, I think, that we achieve some sort of clean resolution here, one way or the other. So, more pressure on City. I'm sure we'll be talking about this more. Sorry about the boring financial chat, but I just thought it was kind of important that the team that won the Premier League in 4 of the last 5 years is now being hit by this absolutely massive charge.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week, subscribe to ESPN Plus.